Hi folks, today I want to talk about probably the best theme you can learn as a developer in 2021. There are plenty of analysis out there on the internet about the most searched programming languages and the most used ones. However, I would look at those with a grain of salt. Just because many of the CMS out there, in particular WordPress, are written in PHP doesn't make it a very good thing to learn right now. Sure, it will be around for probably a long time in the future, but any new framework are almost not written in PHP for reference. As you guys know, these videos would not be possible without a sponsor, so the next portion of this video is about today's sponsor, which is SkillShare. SkillShare is an online learning platform which is highly affordable for about $10 a month on a yearly subscription. I personally love the fact that with one subscription you get so many different high quality videos from all different fields out there. You can learn about coding, filmmaking, marketing, animation, UI UX design and so on. So there is limitless possibilities. One of my favorite things in software development, as you guys probably know, is clean code. And guess what? On SkillShare is a lovely course from Christian Hallman, senior developer at Microsoft from Berlin, about the JavaScript toolkit, write cleaner, faster and better code. I highly respect Christian and can recommend his class without any doubt. You will just learn how to write elegant, clean and better code in the future. If you're completely new in the world of software development and clean code is just a phrase which confuses you, don't worry more. There are plenty of beginner courses on SkillShare as well. So it doesn't matter if you are a beginner, intermediate or expert developer or in your specific field. You can always and will always learn more on SkillShare, I guarantee you that. What have you done? SkillShare and I partnered up so that the first 1,000 users who uses my link in the description to sign up get a free membership trial of SkillShare Premium. And now let's get back into the regular video. If you look at the most Googled programming languages in the past, we clearly see that Python is by far the number one with nearly a third of all search requests. In second place comes Java, surely because of its legacy of running anywhere and the rise of Android apps in the last decade or so. My whole education was heavily built on Java too, but nowadays I rarely use it, to be honest. I don't know, I just never really liked the whole Java ecosystem, the Java virtual machine which slows ever so slightly everything down, but that is just personal preference of myself. When you look to the trends within the languages, you only have 3 languages which are on the rise right now. Python with all the machine learning stuff, JavaScript with all the web frameworks and surely Node.js for backend things, and therefore TypeScript as well to give type safety to JavaScript. So these 3 languages are on the rise, all other ones are staying the same or declining. And that is definitely the way I would recommend to go. I would even say the number 1 language to learn right now is JavaScript. Why? You can use it with any of the large web frameworks like React, Vue.js or Angular. And if you want to proceed with TypeScript, which eventually compiles to JavaScript anyway, it's good to know the base. And with the presence of Node.js, you can even code server-side applications with JavaScript without a breeze. So with just 1 language, you can basically conquer the world. However, Python is also a very good way to start your coding career or if you want to progress further. It's a very clear and simplistic language with less clutter by removing braces, semicolons and so on. So you basically do not have any braces in your application. It's just done by indenting your code. So probably you won't have any compatibility issues. Python usually runs on Linux, macOS, Windows, so it's cross-platform as well. The same applies to JavaScript and Node.js as well. You can install those languages and runtimes on any given operating system of relevance right now. I just mentioned this because when I learned coding, there was .NET Classic, which only ran on Windows, so it was always a big question about the operating system and the environment. Nowadays, most apps will run on all the big operating systems. In the next part, I just want to talk about frameworks. Frameworks are dominating the coding scene for quite a while now. I would highly recommend to learn at least one of the 3 big front-end frameworks right now. Perhaps most of the applications of software will shift to web-based rather sooner than later. There's no need to learn legacy languages and frameworks which runs on a dedicated server. I would highly suggest to just learn some of the new big frameworks. So knowing about them will help you dramatically. There are, as I said in the beginning, React, Vue.js and Angular. The usage of those frameworks vary from regions all over the world, but knowing them will definitely help you. React is baked from Facebook, Angular is baked from Google, and Vue.js is more of an independent, community-driven framework founded by even you. However, at the time of this recording, Vue has the most stars on GitHub, which reflects the developer scene quite accurately, I would say. So there is a big love by the global community about this specific project. Some say there will always be a new framework every other week or so, but those three have a massive base. One reason they are staying is corporate thinking. Imagine you run a big company and invest heavily in building a platform with a certain framework. You can't afford to jump on every new framework as soon as they appear. They rather choose a framework with a huge community and resources in the background. In my area, Angular is very common, but lately Vue.js is also on the rise, but very little companies actually use React. So make sure to do some research and think about the direction you want to go. React has we do all in JS thinking, even CSS, where Angular has split it up HTML, TypeScript and CSS in different files. Sure, you can put your HTML and template in the very same file Angular, but that is not a very common practice, at least in my experience. So I just talked about which programming language you should learn in 2021 and beyond. I also covered the three big front-end frameworks right now, which are definitely on the rise even more at the time we were speaking. And the final part, which is a very important part to separate you from all other competition out there, is quality assurance. Without a doubt, that's probably my most liked topic. I know it sounds kind of weird, but with quality you can and will separate you and your work from your competition, as I said before. You never want to compete solely on price, rather with exceptional good and reliable work. I have gone that route for quite a time now, and it served me pretty well, I would say. It even opened me doors to opportunities I surely would not go without QA thinking in my mind. Don't get me wrong, you don't have to be a QA engineer. For the beginning, think about a programmer who checks about the quality of his works and do some checking about edge cases and corner cases. When you write your unit tests, you may ask yourself how you should do that, and my first answer will always be unit tests. When I learned one thing in the past 10 years, it is that writing tests make you think so much more when you design your application. To make methods and functions testable takes a lot of effort. You have to use separation of concerns, dependency injection, a lot of design principles like solid. Why? Simple answer. The shorter and less dependency your code under test has, the easier it will be to write your tests. Plus the source code will be much more readable. Imagine looking at a method with 15 lines of codes and another one with 500 lines of codes. Which one will be easier to read, to test and maintain? I think you all know the answer quite well. The lesser code a functional method has, the easier it is to test, the easier it is to maintain, the easier it is to build anything around it. So, that are my main points for a software developer in 2021 and beyond. But I have one final point to make. Please look at yourself and don't hustle too much. For me, it was a long journey to where I am now, and surely there's a long way in front of me. I'm in industry for around 12 years now, and at first when I started, all those things I mentioned right now didn't even exist. I didn't have a clue about how things are working. Now I would describe myself as pretty decent, but believe me, there are so many things I have to look up each and every time, and that is nothing to be ashamed of. Alright folks, let me know in the comments below about your tech stack and your next goals. Have a great day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.